a Canadian player, and okay, this is somewhat unusual way to develop at the beginning, but it's not that bad. So he fights for the black squares, and this is why I play d6 to get control of the square as well. And let's play c5 to make the life for him a little bit more difficult. And same as knight c6, again for fighting for the black squares. And because the black squares are that important, I want to get rid of this defender of the black squares here. Okay, here we go. So e5 is not e4, e5. D4 is under our control now, but in return we have weaknesses on the white squares. Because we have weaknesses on the white squares, I want to get my king on black squares. There might be potential threats here on this diagonal, and now he starts to open up the position. There are some ideas now, like just as an example, to get 2 pawns for a piece. Let's assume I play knight d4. I can take here, take, he takes, I take on, maybe, no, I can't do this. I still like the idea to play on black squares here. So my queen threatens to go to g3, so I guess he wants to exchange queens now. And then I block this pawn here and make it difficult for him to play e4. I mean, he can do it, but this pawn is a weakness. So I put pressure now on this file. Yeah, but I thought I'd just take here now. And then getting this pawn here. And if he takes here, I can take this pawn. Did I overlook something? And he threatens to take here maybe as well, but let's do this. He can take with a knight on b7 now. After moving this, I mean, but this is why I want to protect the knight here. So this is not a threat now, because if he take back, he could have taken my knight on c6. I avoid this by playing knight e5. If he takes a rook, yep. He can take here. If I take with the knight, he can enter with the rook here on f7. So this is always a good idea to be active in the end game. But he's just passive. So I can consolidate now, and then I exchange rook, and he will lose the game very, very, very easily. Here my knights are very good now. And now I will try to get active. playing rook f8, rook f2. Yeah, he's doing nothing. So thanks a lot for giving me that opportunity. He can try to jump to c8 with the knight to take this pawn, but I can always play knight c6. It's double protected, and he's doing nothing there as well. So let's move the king more to the center, because the king is very important in the endgame. Now he can't even jump to one of these squares, so yeah, let's play knight b4, attacking the bishop and the pawn. There's no danger I can see here. Yeah, that's what does he want to play now? Yeah, thank you, because this pawn is gone now as well. Yeah, game is over. So we just
Quite resigned.
we just take this pawn, and then we have one pawn extra on each side of the board. So we just promote one of the pawns to a queen. One of the crucial things in this game, I think, is that white didn't play active. I mean, he lost a pawn here, but he still is in the game. But around here, he was he didn't take the opportunity to activate his rook and to destroy, for example, my pawn structure. I mean, every piece of white is aiming at f7, so f7 is under control of white, so to say. And if he takes here on c6, and my knight would take back on c6, he can easily enter here with the rook. I have to move, and then he can take on b7. And if he takes on c6 and I take back with the pawn, he destroys my pawn structure. And there are weaknesses here then. For example, he can maybe play the knight e4, which he played now, afterwards, and it's not that easy for me to protect all these weaknesses. So he has some game, but what he does is just moving his pieces around a bit and helping me to consolidate. And I mean, here already I think the game is over. There was the opportunity to play bishop c6 in this position, and in the end game, try to be active, try to find good squares for your rook. Sometimes it's worth even giving up a pawn or something just in return for an active pieces, especially rooks. There are some famous games where I think it was Alekhine or Capablanca, or where he just sacrificed a pawn in an endgame, which was winning afterwards, because his pieces were so active. And okay, this is one thing in the game, and then another. I mean, you can see the problem with the black squares, and when I played this move, I had some tricks in mind, like jumping with the knight to d4, maybe even sacrificing later on here the knight, taking on f4 with the pawn, open up this diagonal all around this. If you see it now, I can already take here on g3 with the knight, because if I take with the knight, he needs to react because I attack his rook, so he can't play something else here. And if he takes with the king, I can take back or take this pawn with e5, check, and he needs to react on this again, and then I can take on b2. So the ideas I had in the game were good, but I didn't think in the correct way. So I just thought about first blocking this diagonal with the knight on d4, and maybe later on sacrificing it. But I could win directly. So if you have some ideas in mind, yeah, just try a way where it might really work. I didn't spend enough time. Okay, it's a blitz game, but I think this is something I can learn out of this game. To try a bit harder if you have an idea in mind. And yeah, the other thing is activate your pieces.